If your right to work in the US could disappear because of one date printed on a plastic card, would you spend the next few minutes to lock in a plan that keeps your job safe? Stay with me to the end. By minute 3, you'll understand exactly what changed for work permits in January 2026. By minute 6, you'll know how those rules hit your category. And by minute 9, you'll have a step-by-step checklist you can follow tonight. I'll even show you the single calendar habit that prevents most costly lapses so you never have to pause your paycheck. I'm Alex Grant, and welcome to Immigration Update Desk, your channel for clear source-backed guidance across U.S. immigration. If your paycheck depends on an EAD or an H-1B, the environment you're operating in has tightened. Work permit validity is shorter for many categories, automatic extensions are narrower, security vetting is deeper, and employers are being pushed to re-verify with sharper deadlines. None of this is theoretical. It determines whether you can clock in next month, how early you must renew, and how confidently your manager can schedule you. Let's anchor the basics you need before anything else. The Employment Authorization Document, the EAD, is the card employers rely on for I-9 compliance. It authorizes you to work for any employer while it's valid and while the underlying basis remains intact. Large groups depend on it: spouses without incident to status authorization, asylum applicants and asylees, refugees, temporary protected status recipients, F1 students in certain stages, and many applicants adjusting status to permanent residence. In the current policy landscape, new and renewal cards that used to run for multi-year periods are often capped at up to 18 months, and the broad safety net of automatic extensions that once covered many categories has been trimmed. You cannot assume a receipt equals permission to keep working unless your category is explicitly listed for automatic extension and you present the exact document combination HR must see. Your first action item is simple and powerful. Treat your EAD like a passport with a loud alarm. The day your card arrives, write down the expiration date, set 2 reminders, one on the first day you're eligible to file a renewal, and 30 days before expiry as a no excuses backstop, and start a renewal folder with crisp scans of your current card, I-94 if relevant, passport ID page, underlying status approval or receipt, 2 compliant photos, and a trackable payment method. File at the opening of the window, share the receipt number with HR the moment it posts so they can document good faith compliance. If your category still has an automatic extension, know precisely how long it lasts and what document combo is required. If it doesn't, treat the printed expiration as a hard stop and plan your finances and work schedule accordingly. On the employer side, the 2026 reality demands a calm, disciplined rhythm. Re-verification calendars must be current, a backup reviewer should be in place, and I-9 procedures should reflect the newest lists of acceptable documents and receipt extension rules. Managers must be trained not to ask for specific documents, to avoid discrimination risk, and to route immigration questions to a compliance lead. Send friendly reminders to employees 120, 90, and 60 days before expiration, and provide a one-page checklist of what you'll need for re-verification so no one is scrambling at the last minute. While we're tightening renewal habits, employment-based visas themselves are shifting. H-1B selection and adjudication have continued to favor higher skill and higher wage roles, which means job descriptions must align with specialty occupation criteria and offered wages must match the duties and the market. CAP subject employers should prepare earlier for spring, map each role to the correct SOC code, gather degree relevance evidence, and build a plan B if a candidate isn't selected. CAP-exempt institutions, meanwhile, should document the nonprofit or research basis thoroughly. Add to that an uptick in security screening and cross-agency data matching that can add weeks to otherwise routine adjudications, and you see why the best time to prepare is always a few months earlier than you think. Now let's talk about how these rules land on specific households so you can mirror the moves that keep them safe. Imagine Maya, an H-1B engineer in Texas, and Arjun, her spouse, with an EAD through a pending family-based adjustment. In 2023, they leaned on a long card and broad automatic extensions. In 2026, they set a shared calendar at month 12, gather renewal documents, file on day 1 of eligibility, and flag HR as soon as the receipt appears. They plan no risky international travel until both can re-enter without jeopardizing status, and they keep a one-paycheck cushion in case of processing drift. Picture Layla, a TPS recipient in healthcare. She used to rely on automatic extensions in Federal Register notices. Now she treats the printed date as controlling unless the notice explicitly covers her card, and she re-registers for TPS in the first week of the window. Her HR team flags her file 120 days in advance, and they review acceptable I-9 documents together. Or take Daniel, a CAP-exempt H-1B researcher, and Priya, an L2S spouse with work authorization incident to status. They check Priya's I-94 after every entry to confirm the S annotation appears and keep a digital copy ready for re-verification. When an arrival is misannotated, they fix it at deferred inspection the next morning instead of waiting for a problem later. If you're wondering whether speed is ever possible, remember that USCIS expedites do exist but are discretionary and evidence-heavy. If you claim severe financial loss to a company or person, include payroll schedules, client contracts at risk, and letters quantifying impact. Humanitarian reasons require clear medical or caregiving proof. Government interests and nonprofit cultural or social interests are narrower lanes. Some I-129 filings and certain F1 OPT-related I-765s have premium processing, but many EAD categories do not, so don't build a plan around premium unless you know you're eligible. If a case stalls beyond published normal times, submit a service request, ask the contact center for a Tier 2 callback, and consider a concise congressional inquiry when there's documented hardship. The goal is to build a clean paper trail that persuades, not to flood inboxes with repeated messages. Travel can either be routine or the reason a file derails. So plan it against your documents, not your wish list. If you're adjusting status and need to preserve an I-485, leaving without approved advance parole can abandon that application. If you're in H or L status, dual intent helps, but you still need a valid visa stamp or an appointment you can realistically attend. If you change employers under H-1B portability, you may need a new approval notice for stamping. Coordinate before you book flights. Nationals from some countries face longer security checks, so build extra buffer, communicate it to your manager, and never hinge a work deadline on best-case travel assumptions. Let's correct a few viral myths that cost people their jobs. Filing a renewal early does not waste validity. USCIS typically calculates from approval or category logic, and filing on day 1 of eligibility is the best way to avoid a gap. A receipt notice alone is not work authorization unless your category is explicitly covered by automatic extension rules and you present the correct combination of receipt, expired card, and, where required, I-94. HR cannot tell you which specific document to show for I-9. Employees choose from the acceptable list. Traveling with only a receipt is risky. Adjustment applicants without approved advance parole can abandon the case, and most non-immigrants need a valid visa stamp to return. A denial isn't always the end. Many stem from fixable issues and can be addressed with motions or refiles, but unauthorized work after a lapse makes everything harder, so act quickly and cleanly if you receive bad news. If you have a path to permanent residence, 2026 is the year to start sooner. Employment-based perm recruitment and I-140 filings lock priority dates that can matter for years, especially in backlogged categories. Family-based routes can create independent work authorization via adjustment, but weigh travel limits and status history before filing. If you hold dual intent status like H or L, use it wisely. Keep pay stubs, update addresses promptly, track every I-94, and keep your passport valid well past intended travel dates. Small habits build long-term stability. Practical logistics make or break smooth renewals. Many DMVs align driver's license validity with authorized stay, so book appointments early. Social Security name changes require documents matching DHS records, so coordinate timing across agencies. Landlords and banks may ask for updated proof at renewal. Keep a minimal, clean packet ready. Download your I-94 history from CBP, save approval notices, prior EADs, and passport pages to a secure cloud folder with clear file names so you can upload fast. This organization pays you back every time the system asks for proof. Consistency across your history prevents needless checks, mismatched names between passports and I-94s, different birth dates on older forms, or inconsistent addresses are common triggers for delays. Before you submit anything new, compare your entire file, fix errors with short factual explanations, choose one transliteration for your name and stick to it, and include legal name change orders where relevant. These tiny steps save weeks. Because emotion is part of this, let's talk stress. Shorter validity and fewer automatic extensions create background worry. Will the card arrive in time? Will HR understand? Will a project slip? The antidote is a monthly status review with your partner or a trusted friend. Check expirations, receipts, travel, and backup plans. Keep a shared document folder. Maintain a clear HR point of contact. Aim for a buffer of at least one pay period. Preparation won't speed USCIS up, but it gives you control, and control lowers stress. Here's the promised end-to-end checklist you can copy tonight. Look at your current EAD or status document and write down the expiration date. Count back to the earliest renewal eligibility day and put both dates on your calendar with alerts. Assemble your renewal packet now: passport ID page, current EAD, I-94 if relevant, underlying approval or receipt, marriage certificate if your category depends on spousal eligibility, 2 compliant photos, correct I-765 category selection, and a trackable payment method. Confirm you're using the current form edition. File on the opening day and upload to your USCIS online account so you receive secure messages. Share the receipt with HR. If you're an H-1B household, audit the job description and wage level with your employer. Gather degree relevance proof and document role complexity. If travel is looming, align dates with advanced parole or stamping realities. If you qualify for adjustment or another more stable path, begin gathering civil documents now. If you face a real emergency, learn expedite criteria and prepare concise evidence instead of long letters without documentation. And if your case crosses the outside normal line, escalate in order. Service request, Tier 2 callback, targeted congressional inquiry with a clean timeline. Quick compliance refresher to protect both your job and your employer. An EAD does not extend the underlying status that supports it. If the basis ends, the card may not protect your right to work. A Social Security card alone is not work authorization. Employers should avoid requesting specific documents and should never hold passports. Employees should present valid documents of their choice and be transparent about expirations. Mutual good faith builds a record that protects everyone. Remember, the system still works for millions every year. People renew, get approvals, change jobs lawfully, travel, and move forward. The new reality is simply less forgiving of procrastination and inconsistent records. If you treat your status like a professional tool, just like your resume or certifications, you'll be fine. If this helped you, Subscribe to Immigration Update Desk and tap the bell so you don't miss briefings on EAD renewals, H-1B planning, TPS re-registrations, OPT timelines, and adjustment strategies. We cover visitor visas like B1, B2, work visas including L1A, L1B, and H1B, student paths, green cards, and immigrant categories like EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, and EB5, plus family-based routes, always with source links and plain English checklists. Drop your category and your next expiration date in the comments so we can tailor the next video. Share this with a friend whose card expires this year, and remember, a few smart moves made early will keep your life and career moving forward. I'm Alex Grant with Immigration Update Desk. Thanks for watching. Take 10 seconds right now to set your renewal reminders, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll file an I-765 renewal together on screen, track the receipt, and show you exactly how to handle I-9 re-verification if your employer needs to pause work before the new card arrives.